I'm going to rant a little on the 10 worst stages of Brawl. There may be more stages in this game than in the previous one, but that does not mean the more the better. Keep in mind these are my opinions. If you don't agree with it, feel free to do your own video. Anyway, let's start off quickly with number 10. The least worst of the 10 stages goes to Summit. Granted, it's a better stage for ice climbers than a melee, but it's still god-awful. You do nothing but slip across the platforms every time you try to do some kind of forward attack. Except for ice climbers, they are immune to slipping on this stage, which is an unfair advantage, don't you think? There is also a giant fish hazard that can steal a stock from you, although it's somewhat predictable. The edges cannot be grabbed either during the entire fight, which makes no sense really. What's worse is during certain parts of the stage, the gravity becomes extremely light, making it difficult to fight on. And this stage is pretty much anti-Olimar as his Pikmin die in the water. Not a good stage and not very fun at that. At first glance, this stage seems pretty neutral. You have a few platforms, no obvious hazards, right? However, the one single feature about this stage that totally ruins the playability of it is the fact that the solid platforms can be broken when damaged too much. Why is this such a problem? Because for one, characters like Ike that do decent damage during their recovery may just end up breaking the platform instead of grabbing the ledge, resulting in a KO. Or during recovery, the broken platforms may regenerate, which are just too difficult to keep track of. The stage clearly favors characters with long-range recoveries. If the platforms didn't break, this would be a more playable stage, but it is not. There's always some kind of new lava Metroid stage, and they're pretty much getting worse and worse. This one has little ability for ground matches as the platforms are just too damn small to fight on. Aerial fighters take the advantage here. And of course the lava hazards are ridiculous. You have lava attacking from the side, from in the background, from the bottom, and even a huge lava wave that only a small capsule that you must fight over can save you from a KO. Well, you can dodge outside the capsule, but even so, your opponents can stop you from dodging it, or throw you into the side attacking lava, or hold you in the background attacks. It is just crappy to me. I missed a Metroid level from Super Smash Bros. 64. What's worse is they also have the Brinstar stage from Melee in this game too. Why have both? They could have brought back Mountain of Dreams instead, or some other better stage. Yet another attempt at a moving stage for F-Zero. They pretty much destroy any chance of redeeming the stupid stage from Melee. Instead, they make the moving platform more difficult to keep up with, making it easier to suicide. They beef up the racers on the track so that if you are hit with a decent amount of damage, you are instantly killed. And half of the time you have to guess when they come and hope you're not caught up in the middle of a move or a grab. Not really a fair stage, and still not fun either. Mushroomy Kingdom is the main Mario stage of this game. Holy crap, what is this? A side-scrolling, claustrophobic type recreation of Super Mario Bros. Levels 1 and 2. I dislike this stage with a fiery passion. I just do not have fun fighting on it. The pit's ledges cannot be grabbed, and going more than an inch down the pit will get you killed, especially with the bigger characters. And it's just chaos. Not to mention you can easily be KO'd if you stuck too close to the left or in items such as a pitfall or smart bomb. So instead of the upward scrolling stage from Melee that was for the ice climbers, we are given another crappy version of it in Brawl, except for Donkey Kong and Diddy. I'll admit this stage has some awesome music, but it's just impossible to fight on this stage, which I think should be rather important when you're playing a fighting game. It is more of like an obstacle course of jumping from one platform to the next so that you don't get KO'd. And at times it randomly speeds up the pace of the scrolling, which means you had better hope you have a character with high vertical recovery or you're going to end up dying from missing platforms. It's just ridiculous, which is a shame because I enjoy the music here. Yes, Mario Bros. Most people probably would have guessed this unfair stage would have made it in the list. The stage idea is alright, but it just does not work right for this kind of game. You pretty much almost have to KO your opponent on the sides, and to make it worse, the hazards on this stage are just a nightmare. You have shells, crabs, and eggs. They just come at you so fast at times. What's worse is if a shell or crab is knocked upside down, a player can pick up the shell and toss it at the opponent for some massive knockback, which usually results in a KO. This is bad because you can't shield it. Basically, if your opponent grabs the shell, you had better grab one too or run for your life. Either that or you can try to sidestep or air dodge the shell if it is thrown at you, which may or may not work. The only time I play this stage against someone is during super sudden death, as it is very hilarious, but that's just me. Some people may love this stage's hazards, but I really don't. New Pork City is basically the Hyrule Temple of Brawl, which is stupid because we already have Hyrule Temple in Brawl. We don't need another crappy gigantic stage that is not fun to fight on. The stage is just too big. It takes forever to kill somebody on real fights, and it's a camper's dream stage. What if it was Sonic versus Bowser, or even worse, how about Pit or Meta Knight versus anyone else? They can just glide around the outside of the stage and you'll never touch them. The stage's hazard is a giant pink monster, whatever it is. If you touch it, count on getting killed as it does about 200% damage with massive knockback. Fortunately, it's very easy to avoid, and only a retard would blame losing a fight on running into it. Either way, I dislike giant levels like this. They just take forever to fight on. Okay, what in the hell is this stage? Who came up with this stage to be in Brawl? Who thought it would be a good idea? It's just idiotic. You basically fight on leaves. Not very fun at all. The worst part is attacking the leaves to cause it to shift up or down, which throws off your attacks and recovery. Not to mention it's not a very safe stage, as you could fall through almost every leaf platform. I really have nothing else to say about this stage. It's just stupid. They could have replaced it with a much better stage. And the #1 worst stage in Brawl, and perhaps the entire series, is 75M from Donkey Kong. Okay, I like the idea of bringing back a stage from such an old game, but like with Mario Bros. Stage, it just does not belong in Brawl. You can't fight on this stage. Most of the platforms are crazy small, and a character like Bowser would take up the entire platform alone. For characters who can easily camp, you're going to have an annoying time trying to fight them. The hazards are basically easy to avoid unless you are knocked into them, which happens more than you might think. But either way, this stage was a bad idea, and a bad idea for a fighting game. And there you have it, the 10 worst stages in the game. It's based on my opinion, but I'm sure others will agree with most. For the last 3 stages, I pretty much don't bother trying to fight on them if somebody picks it, because I don't find them fun. I mean, even if we're doing some kind of super sudden death or joke match, the stages are still not fun. Even though there's 41 stages in the game, I don't think it would have killed them to put a couple more neutral stages in there. I mean, Final Destination's cool and all, but the ledges really ruin recovery for some characters like Wolf that are really hard to time. And then you have Spatchville, which is probably the only actual real neutral stage that's fair to every character. And Battlefield's pretty cool, but the platforms kind of ruin characters who can't get around them easily. I mean, hazard stages are okay to play on if you're playing for fun or a joke match, but if you're playing to win or see who is skilled, you can't play on these kind of stages because it's just unfair. I can't tell you how many times I got KO'd on Norfair just because somebody threw me into the lava even though you try to avoid it.